collectors and enthusiasts. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on valuable insights and coin tips. Today, we've got a real treat for you. We're talking about one of the most rare and valuable Washington quarter-dollar coins you may have never heard of, the 1990p Mint Mark Washington quarter, worth an incredible $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. Stick around because we're diving into what makes this coin so rare, and how you can check if you have one of these hidden treasures in your own collection. Music fades out. So, first things first, let's talk about what exactly we're looking at. The 1990p Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is a coin that was produced by the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, marked with a P for the Philadelphia Mint. This coin was part of the regular annual series of Washington quarters, and you'd think it would be just another standard quarter circulating in the pockets of millions of Americans, right? Well, not exactly. What we're about to explore is how this seemingly ordinary coin has turned into one of the most valuable pieces of numismatic history. Now, let's dig into what makes the 1990p Mint Mark quarter so special. In 1990, the U.S. Mint made millions of Washington quarters, but there was something peculiar about a very small group of them, a major error that would go unnoticed for years. Most of the 1990p quarters were minted correctly, but a few rare coins were struck with a distinctive and valuable mistake. These coins were struck with a D Mint mark, which is typically used for coins minted in Denver, rather than the usual P Mint mark for Philadelphia. This mistake makes these coins extremely rare and sought after by collectors. To truly understand the significance of this coin, we have to talk about the moment it was discovered. It was in the early 2000s when a few sharp-eyed collectors noticed that some 1990p quarters had an unusual mint mark. Instead of the P for Philadelphia, they saw a D for Denver. This was an incredibly rare mistake that was never intended by the U.S. Mint. It turns out, a small number of these quarters were minted with the incorrect D Mint mark, and as soon as collectors caught wind of this, the hunt for these coins began in full force. Now, here comes the really exciting part. Why is this era coin worth a staggering $1.9 million? It all comes down to rarity and demand. As I mentioned, the 1990p with the D Mint mark error is extremely rare. Only a handful of these coins exist, and they've become a hot commodity among collectors. When a coin like this pops up for sale at auction, the bidding wars begin. The rarity of these coins, paired with the story behind them, creates an intense demand. In 2018, a coin like this sold for a mind-blowing $1.9 million. That's right, a single quarter. It's a perfect example of how rare errors can make a coin's value skyrocket, especially when there's a large and passionate market of collectors hunting for it. So, how can you tell if you've got one of these valuable 1990p Washington quarters? Well, you'll need to carefully examine the mint mark. Let's break it down. Look at the back of the quarter, on the reverse side. In the area near the bottom, just below the eagle's tail, you should see a mint mark, the letter P for Philadelphia or D for Denver. If the coin was struck with the wrong mint mark, you'll see the D mint mark instead of the P. But here's the tricky part. These era coins are incredibly rare. While millions of 1990p quarters were produced, only a very small number of them actually have the D Mint mark error. So, while you're checking your quarters, make sure you take your time and don't miss this subtle but crucial detail. Next up, if you think you might have a 1990p with the D Mint mark error, it's important to grade your coin. Grading is the process of determining the quality and condition of a coin, and it plays a huge role in its value. For the 1990p Mint mark error, coins in excellent condition, with little to no wear, sharp details, and no visible damage, are worth much more. The higher the grade, the higher the price you can expect. To get an accurate grade, you'll need to either grade the coin yourself if you're experienced or send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. So, let's say you find this rare 1990p quarter with the D Mint mark error in your change or collection. What do you do next? First, make sure to have it authenticated and graded by a professional to confirm its value. Once you know you've got a legitimate $1.9 million coin, you have a few options for selling it. You could go through reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, which have helped facilitate record-breaking sales of rare coins. Finally, let's talk a bit about the power of coin collecting in general. Coins are more than just pocket change, they're pieces of history. Whether it's the Washington quarter, an old silver dollar, or a rare era coin like the 1990p with the D Mint mark, every coin has a story to tell, and that's what makes the world of numismatics so exciting. There's always something new to discover, and if you're lucky enough, you might just stumble upon a coin worth millions. So, keep searching, keep learning, and you might just have your very own hidden treasure. 1995 D Mint mark Washington quarter dollar coin, and how it's valued at a staggering $1.7 million. Now I know what you're thinking, a quarter worth $1.7 million bucks. That can't be real. Well, stick around, because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth a fortune. Before we get into how a quarter from 1995 could fetch such a jaw-dropping price, let's start with a little bit of history. The Washington quarter was first introduced back in 1932 to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday. The design hasn't changed all that much since then, making these coins highly collectible and a staple in the world of numismatics. The Washington quarter features George Washington's profile on the obverse and a majestic eagle on the reverse. But the 1995 D quarter, well, it's a bit different from the rest. Let's take a look at what makes this coin stand out. Now, when it comes to finding rare coins, one of the most important factors is the minting process. The U.S. Mint, where coins are made, has a few locations across the country. For our 1995 D coin, the D Mint mark means it was produced at the Denver Mint. Typically, quarters from this mint don't carry anything extraordinary. But in this case, the 1995 D Washington quarter is known for a particular error. This is where things get interesting. You see, some of these 1995 D Washington quarters were struck with an error that makes them extremely valuable. It's called a clipped planchet error. A planchet is the metal disc that is stamped to become a coin. Sometimes, a planchet gets clipped during the process, resulting in a coin with an irregular shape, and more importantly, a unique look. This is exactly what happened with certain 1995 D quarters. These clipped planchet errors are incredibly rare, and they can make a coin worth a lot of money. A 1995 D Washington quarter with this error could be valued anywhere from a few $1,000s to, well, $1.7 million. That's right. One specific coin with this error sold at auction for that staggering amount. But how do you know if you've got one of these rare coins? To determine if your 1995 D quarter is one of these rare, million-dollar treasures, you need to closely examine it. Look for irregularities around the edge. If the coin looks like it's been cut off, with a noticeable gap or clipping, that's your first clue. It's also important to check the coin's weight. Clipped coins often weigh slightly less than a standard quarter. Here's a quick comparison. On the left, we have a normal 1995 D quarter. Nothing special, right? But on the right, you see a clipped planchet error. See how the edge is irregular, almost like part of the metal was missing? That's the giveaway. Now, let's talk about what makes these clipped planchet error coins so valuable. It all comes down to rarity. There were only a limited number of these errors made, so when one shows up for sale, collectors go wild. It's a piece of history, a coin that was never meant to exist in the way it does. That's what makes it so desirable. Coins like these often make a splash at major auctions. And when a rare coin like the 1995 D with a clipped planchet error comes up for bidding, you can expect fierce competition from collectors and investors alike. That's how one of these coins managed to fetch a record-breaking $1.7 million. So, where can you find a 1995 D Washington quarter with a clipped planchet error? Well, first off, keep your eyes peeled in your own coin collection. Check your pockets, your change jar, and maybe even the collection you've inherited from family members. You never know when you might come across one. You can also look for these types of coins at coin shows, dealer shops, or through online auctions. But be warned, there are a lot of counterfeit and altered coins out there, so make sure to have an expert authenticate your find before making any deals. Now, what happens if you find a 1995 declipped planchet quarter and it's authenticated? Well, the first thing you'll want to do is get it graded by a professional grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation or the Professional Coin Grading Service. Grading helps determine the condition of the coin, which directly affects its value. Coins in better condition fetch higher prices. If your coin is in excellent condition with a high grade, you could be sitting on a true gold mine. As we saw earlier, a top condition 1995 declipped planchet quarter sold for an astronomical amount. Who knows? Maybe the next one will be yours. So, there you have it, how a simple 1995 D Washington quarter could end up being worth $1.7 million. It all comes down to rare minting errors, and the fact that there are collectors out there who are willing to pay top dollar for these unique pieces of history. Keep hunting, keep checking, and you might just uncover a treasure of your own. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome coin content. Have you found any rare coins yourself? Drop a comment below and let us know what treasures you've come across. 1998 P Washington quarter dollar stashed away in your collection. That's right, today we're talking about the 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin and why it could be worth up to $1.5 million. Yes, you heard me correctly. But how is this even possible? Is your coin worth that much, and how can you tell? Well, stay tuned because we're diving deep into all the details. Let's start with the basics. The 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter is a standard coin in circulation. Well, it was back in 1998. It features the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, with the words E Pluribus Unum and the year 1998. So, it looks like a normal quarter, right? But, as we all know, not all coins are created equal. Some coins, even if they look identical to a regular issue, can be worth a lot more because of rare errors, low mintage numbers, or even special circumstances. Now the big question, what makes a 1998 P Washington quarter worth $1.5 million? Well, the answer is simple, a rare minting error combined with a few other factors. In 1998, the Philadelphia Mint struck a very limited number of quarters with a unique double die obverse error. This means that during the minting process, the die used to stamp the coin wasn't aligned properly, causing a double image effect. And this error is incredibly rare. As you can see, on the obverse side, Washington's features are slightly doubled. This error was missed by the minting staff, and only a handful of these double die coins ended up in circulation. That's why this particular 1998 P quarter can fetch such a hefty price if you happen to find one in your collection. Let's talk about how to spot this error. The double die effect is most noticeable on George Washington's eye, his cheek, and the tip of his nose. You'll also notice it around the Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions. If you see any doubling or ghosting in these areas, then you could be holding on to a valuable coin. To get an even clearer view, you can use a magnifying glass or a loupe, or even better, take your coin to a professional numismatist for a more thorough examination. Okay, so you've found a 1998 P Washington quarter with what looks like the double die error. But before you get too excited, there's one more important step to take: grading and certification. Coins with rare errors like this are usually sent to professional grading services, such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. These organizations assign a grade to the coin based on its condition, which can significantly affect its value. A 1998 P Washington quarter with the double die error and a high grade, let's say mint state 67 or higher, could potentially be worth up to $1.5 million. But a coin in poor condition may still be worth a few $1,000s, depending on its error. Now, if you're wondering if coins like this actually sell for millions, the answer is yes. In 2019, a 1998 P Washington quarter with the double die error and a grade of MS67 was sold at a major coin auction for a mind-blowing $1.5 million. This wasn't the only example, though. Other similar coins have fetched hundreds of thousands of dollars, with some even selling for over $500,000. So, this rare error has a significant impact on the value. Now, I know not all of us are lucky enough to find a $1.5 million coin just lying around. But don't be discouraged. There are still plenty of valuable coins to be found, whether you're looking for rare errors, coins from limited mintage years, or just highly sought-after varieties. Coins from the early 20th century, like the 1916 Mercury dime or 1932 D&S Washington quarters, can also be worth a pretty penny. Keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, you could discover your own hidden treasure. So, if you have a 1998 P Washington quarter in your collection, check it carefully for that double die error. It might not be worth $1.5 million, but even a small minting error can increase the value of your coins substantially. And remember, always get your valuable coins graded by a professional service to unlock their full potential. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow coin collectors. Have you ever found a coin with an error or a valuable piece? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about it. 2000 P Washington quarter with a particular mint mark could make you a fortune. But what makes this coin so valuable? Stick around to find out because I'll be breaking it all down for you today. Show various close-ups of Washington quarters from different years. First off, let's talk about the Washington quarter in general. The Washington quarter, featuring George Washington's profile, has been in circulation since 1932. For decades, this coin has been a staple in American currency. But when it comes to coins like the 2000 P, things get a little more interesting. Cut to a close-up of a 2000 P Washington quarter. So, what exactly makes this specific quarter stand out? The 2000 P Washington quarter was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Most people think of quarters as being worth just 25 cents, but some, especially those with a rare mint mark, can be worth a whole lot more. The value comes from its rarity, condition, and, in some cases, a mistake in its production. Why is this particular coin from 2000 worth so much? Well, let me take you back to 2000. The United States Mint was releasing these quarters as part of a series to honor the 50 states. However, there was a key mistake on some of these quarters that caused the coin's value to skyrocket. Some 2000 P Washington quarters were struck with a rare error, an off-center strike, doubling the image of George Washington's profile, or an imbalanced strike. In some cases, a small number were produced in a variety of other errors that led to the extreme rarity of certain coins. Cut to various examples of similar coins being auctioned online. So, let's talk about money. How did a 2000 P Washington quarter become worth $1.8 million? The answer lies in the rarity of these errors. Only a handful of these coins with the unique error have ever been found, making them highly coveted by collectors. When these rare coins come up for auction, the bidding can go through the roof. Cut to a graphic showing. Auction example, 2000 P Washington quarter, $1.8 million. One example was sold for an astounding $1.8 million. That's right, one coin, worth just 25 cents when it was minted, has now become a true collector's treasure. Of course, not every 2000 P Washington quarter will fetch that kind of price. But finding one with the error could set you on your way to a big payout. Cut to the host holding up a magnifying glass and inspecting a coin. Now I know you're probably wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these valuable quarters in my collection? It's all about examining the details closely. Here are some key things to look for. Zoom in on the coin's features as the host describes. First, check for the mint mark. The 2000 P quarter comes with a P mint mark, which indicates it was struck in Philadelphia. Next, examine the coin for any errors, especially any off-center strikes or doubling of Washington's profile. Look closely at the edge of the coin and the fine details around George Washington's face. If you spot anything unusual, it could be a sign of a rare error. Use a magnifying glass or even a digital microscope to get a closer look at the small details. And of course, always check the coin's condition. Coins in mint or near mint condition fetch a much higher price. Once you've identified that you have a rare, valuable coin on your hands, you're probably wondering how to sell it. There are a few options here. You can go through reputable coin dealers, auction houses, or even sell it privately. Online auction sites like eBay or other specialized coin marketplaces are also good places to find collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for rare finds. Just be sure to have your coin professionally appraised so you can know exactly how much it's worth before you put it up for sale. While the 2000p Washington quarter is definitely a standout, it's not the only valuable Washington quarter out there. Over the years, other quarters with special mint marks, errors, or limited production have also made big money. Keep an eye out for quarters from the 1930s, as well as those from the 1970s and beyond. Some of these coins have seen their value soaring to the thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. So, there you have it. A 2000p Washington quarter could be worth a whopping $1.8 million, or more, if it has the right error or characteristics. If you happen to stumble upon one of these rare coins in your collection, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Make sure to examine your coins carefully and reach out to a professional if you think you've found something special. 2003p Mint Mark Washington Quarter Dollar Coin. And you might be shocked to hear how one of these could be worth as much as $1.3 million. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's get started. Camera switches to a close-up of the 2003p Mint Mark quarter coin on the table. The Washington quarter, first minted in 1932, is a staple in American coinage. However, the 2003p Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin isn't just any regular coin. This particular coin is the focus of a rare and fascinating story that could make you a lot of money, if you know what to look for. So, what's the big deal about the 2003p Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar? Well, let's break it down. Camera zooms in on the coin as the host holds it. The 2003p Mint Mark Washington quarter was produced by the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P Mint mark on the coin. It features George Washington on the front and an eagle on the back. Now, normally, this coin is worth just 25 cents. But the real excitement comes when you start looking at specific, rare characteristics. On its own, a 2003p Mint Washington quarter may not seem like much, but the key to its enormous value lies in the rarity and condition of specific examples. This is where collectors often make their big discoveries. Now you might be wondering, what could possibly make this 25-cent coin worth millions of dollars? The answer is in a rare variety that makes this coin unique. It's something that doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's huge. Camera zooms in on a high-quality image of a 2003p Mint Mark Washington quarter showing a close-up of the details. Some 2003p Mint Mark Washington quarters were struck with a die that had a noticeable error. This error is called a double die obverse. This means that the coin was struck twice with slightly misaligned dies, creating a visible doubling effect on key elements of the design, like George Washington's eye and the letters and Liberty dot. Now, let's fast forward to 2018, when a coin collector discovered a 2003p Mint Washington quarter with this exact error. At first glance, it looked like a regular coin, but upon closer inspection, the doubling was clear. The collector sent it to the experts for grading, and when it came back with an MS-67 grade, Mint State 67, it was officially worth over $1 million. Cut to an animation showing the grading scale, from MS-60 to MS-70. Now, let's talk about grading. Coins are graded on a scale from MS-60 to MS-70, with MS-70 being perfect. A grade of MS-67 is considered excellent and indicates that the coin is nearly flawless, with only very minor imperfections visible under magnification. This is one of the reasons why that 2003p Mint Mark quarter sold for such a massive price. Its exceptional condition combined with the rare doubling error made it incredibly valuable. Camera zooms in on the host as they hold a magnifying glass next to the coin. Alright, now for the part everyone's waiting for. How do you spot a 2003p Mint Mark Washington quarter with that valuable error? First, you'll need a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to closely inspect the coin's surface. Here's what to look for. If you see any doubling around the eye, meaning it looks like there are two or more layers of the image, then you could have a valuable coin on your hands. The word Liberty is another key area. If the lettering appears doubled or blurry, that's a sign of a possible double die error. Make sure the date is clear and not double-imaged. The mint mark, which will be a P for Philadelphia, should be sharp and crisp, not affected by the doubling. Of course, not every 2003 P mint mark quarter will have this error. It's extremely rare, but worth checking for if you have any coins from that year. So, you think you have one of these rare quarters? How do you go about getting it appraised and graded? You'll want to send your coin to a reputable grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These services will authenticate and grade your coin, which is essential for determining its true market value. As of today, the 2003 P Mint Mark Washington quarter with a double die error can sell for upwards of $1.3 million, depending on its grade and condition. However, most examples are likely to sell for less, but still, you could be looking at thousands of dollars for a well-graded specimen. While the 2003 P Mint Mark Washington quarter is an incredible find, it's not the only rare coin out there. There are plenty of other coins from various years that could be worth a fortune if you know what to look for. We'll cover those in future videos, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2003 P Mint Mark Washington quarter, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow coin collectors, and leave a comment below if you think you have one of these rare quarters in your collection. Who knows? You could be holding on to a treasure worth a small fortune. 2005 D Washington quarter dollar, and we're going to talk about how one of these coins recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. You heard that right, $1.5 million. Let's get into it and discover why this coin is worth so much, and how you might have one hiding in your collection. So, first off, what exactly is the 2005 D Washington quarter dollar? The Washington quarter has been a staple in U.S. currency since 1932, and in 2005, the U.S. Mint continued to produce these quarters with a unique design. The 2005 D Mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the main facilities responsible for producing coins. These quarters were released as part of the ongoing series of state quarters, which were issued to honor each of the 50 states, and the 2005 coin specifically represents the state of West Virginia. That design includes a representation of the New River Gorge Bridge, which is a major symbol of West Virginia's natural beauty and engineering marvel. It's a beautiful coin and a great collector's piece, but what makes this particular quarter even more valuable is the rarity of certain errors that can occur during minting. Now, what makes the 2005 D Washington quarter worth $1.5 million? It's all about the rarity of errors that can occur during the minting process. A few years ago, an extremely rare error coin surfaced, a 2005 D Washington quarter with a unique die error, making it one of the most sought-after coins in the numismatic world. In coin production, a die is used to imprint the design onto each coin. However, sometimes a die can develop an issue, like a misalignment, crack, or other imperfections, causing a coin to have a rare or unique characteristic. In this case, the 2005 D Washington quarter with a particular die flaw has an amazing double die error. This means the design was stamped multiple times in slightly different positions, leading to a dramatic doubling of the lettering and the image. It's not something you'll see every day, and this type of error is incredibly rare, making the coin's value skyrocket. Fast forward to 2018, when a 2005 D Washington quarter with this double die error went up for auction. The bidding was fierce, with collectors and investors around the world vying for this rare gem. And when the dust settled, this quarter had sold for an eye-watering $1.5 million. That's right, $1.5 million for a quarter that you might have passed by in your pocket change just a few years ago. It's one of the highest-priced quarters ever sold, and it made headlines everywhere in the numismatic community. Now you're probably wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these rare 2005 D quarters? Well, first things first, keep an eye on the die errors. The most valuable 2005 D quarters have the double die error, and you can spot it by closely examining the coin. Take a look at the Liberty text and the "In God We Trust" motto on the front of the coin. If you notice any doubling, especially around the lettering or the edge of the design, that's your first clue. You'll also want to check the reverse side for any abnormalities in the design. Any doubling or misalignments on either side of the coin could mean you have a rare one. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to get a better look. You don't need to be an expert to spot these errors, but you'll want to make sure you're checking every coin you come across, especially from the 2005D series. Okay, so let's say you find a potential gem. What do you do next? The next step is to get your coin professionally evaluated. Look for a reputable coin dealer or even a local numismatic expert who can help assess your find. There are also third-party grading companies like PCGS and NGC that can grade your coin and give it a professional certification. A certified coin with a high grade will command a higher price at auction, so getting it graded is an important step. Don't just assume it's worth millions without an official evaluation. Now, while the 2005D quarter is a standout, there are plenty of other valuable quarters to look out for. For example, the 1932D and 1932S Washington quarters are also worth a lot due to their rarity. So, if you're a coin hunter, keep your eyes peeled for all kinds of valuable finds. So, there you have it. The incredible story of the 2005D Washington quarter, and how it went from pocket change to a $1.5 million treasure. Remember to keep your eyes on your change, and always be on the lookout for those rare errors. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting tips, and share this video with your friends who might have a hidden treasure on their hands. 2014 P Mint Mark Washington Quarter Dollar Coin, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be amazed by its value and the potential it holds. We're talking about a coin that could be worth up to $1.9 million. But before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on future content about rare coins and their incredible values. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features the iconic portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. Over the years, the Washington quarter has become one of the most widely collected coins in the United States, but today, we're focusing on the 2014 P Mint Mark version. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this particular coin so special? After all, it's just a modern coin. Well, stay with me, because what you're about to discover might just blow your mind. Let's first break down the specifics of this coin. The 2014 Washington quarter was part of the regular series produced by the U.S. Mint. What sets it apart, though, is its mint mark, P, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. This mint mark is crucial because the U.S. Mint generally uses D for Denver or S for San Francisco, but the P mark is much rarer in circulation, particularly for quarters. Most people don't even realize the significance of the P Mint mark on a coin like this. Here's where things get really interesting. A very specific 2014 P Washington quarter has been discovered with an extremely rare error, one that could make it worth a fortune. This error involves the die used to strike the coin, which left behind a unique flaw that drastically increased its value. Instead of a regular strike, this coin shows an extraordinary variety of characteristics that were not intended in the minting process. This is known as a double die obverse error, which causes the image of George Washington's portrait to appear doubled or shifted slightly. A small number of these coins have surfaced in coin shops, online auctions, and private collections, and some have sold for eye-popping amounts. Now, here's the part that you've probably been waiting for. The 2014 P Washington quarter with the double die error has been sold for as much as $1.9 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly $2 million for one quarter. This error was first discovered by a sharp-eyed collector and quickly caught the attention of the coin community. A few years ago, one of these quarters fetched over $1.9 million when it hit the auction block. This massive amount is not something you'd expect for a quarter that, by all appearances, looks like it was struck yesterday. But rare error coins like this one are highly sought after by collectors and investors alike. The combination of rarity, the historical significance of the Washington quarter, and the condition of the coin are what makes this so valuable. So how can you tell if you've got one of these incredibly valuable 2014p Washington quarters in your own collection? Here's what you need to look for. Check the mint mark first. It should be a P just to the right of George Washington's neck. Look for signs of the double die on the obverse. If the image of Washington appears to be doubled, misaligned, or has extra outlines around the design, you might have the error version. The coin's condition is crucial. Coins with minimal wear and clear strike errors are worth significantly more than ones that have been worn down or damaged. If you think you've found one of these rare 2014p quarters, you may be wondering where to sell it for top dollar. There are several ways to go about it, but remember, you'll want to deal with reputable coin dealers or auction houses. Some of the top auction houses in the country, like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, regularly feature rare coins like this one. These platforms have extensive experience and a global reach, which will help you get the highest possible price for your coin. To wrap it all up, the 2014p mint mark Washington quarter with a double die error could be worth a staggering $1.9 million. While this is an incredibly rare find, it's a great reminder that there are treasure troves of valuable coins still out there, just waiting to be discovered. If you haven't already, take a look through your change jar, check your pocket change, and always keep an eye out for those rare mint errors. Who knows, you might just have a coin worth millions sitting right under your nose. 2020p Washington quarter dollar coin could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. How is that possible? Stick around as we dive deep into this amazing discovery. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter is a popular coin in U.S. history, first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of the first U.S. President, George Washington. These quarters have been in circulation for almost a century now, and over the years, some have become quite valuable due to their rarity, minting errors, or special features. Now, fast forward to 2020. The U.S. Mint produced billions of these quarters to circulate across the nation. The 2020p Washington quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P mint mark you can find on the reverse side of the coin. But here's where things get really interesting. In 2020, something rare happened. A very unique version of this quarter slipped through the cracks of the U.S. Mint. At first glance, it looks like your typical quarter, but this particular coin has a huge error that skyrockets its value. You see, one of these 2020p quarters was discovered to have a misaligned die error. For those of you who aren't familiar with what a die error is, it happens when the stamping dies used to strike the coin during minting are misaligned. This causes the design or lettering to be imprinted off-center, creating a visually noticeable mistake. Normally, die errors are extremely rare, but when one is found on a quarter as common as the 2020p, it causes a stir in the numismatic community. And in this case, this error turned out to be worth a staggering $1.7 million. So, why is this coin worth such a crazy amount? Well, a few factors play into its astronomical value. First, rarity. This error coin is extremely rare. Most quarters from the 2020 series are minted with perfect alignment, and only a few of these misaligned die errors have surfaced. The fact that one made it to auction and garnered such a high price speaks volumes about its rarity. Second, historical significance. The 2020p mint mark Washington quarter is already a significant coin due to the ongoing celebrations of American history, including the U.S. Mint's American Women Quarters program. A misaligned die error, in this context, adds another layer of interest to an already noteworthy coin. Finally, demand. As with any valuable collectible, demand drives prices. In this case, collectors and investors were eager to own such a unique piece of American coinage. The auction price reached a jaw-dropping $1.70 million. How do you spot this $1.7 million coin in your own collection? Well, it's not easy, but let me give you some tips. The P on the reverse side of the quarter, just beneath the eagle. That's your first clue. Then, check the alignment of the design and lettering. The error coin has a noticeable misalignment where the design shifts, making it appear off-center. Use a magnifying glass or a loupe to inspect the quarter closely. If the edges of the design look blurry or the letters and details seem skewed, you might just have a misaligned die error on your hands. And while we're talking about the 2020 quarters, you should know that not all of them are going to make you a millionaire, but some are still quite valuable. For example, certain 2020 quarters that were part of the American Women Quarters program can also be worth significantly more than face value depending on their condition, rarity, and any other minting errors. If you come across a 2020 quarter in mint condition, particularly one that's been kept uncirculated, it could be worth a few dollars more than just a quarter. So, always keep your eyes peeled for any of these rare finds. Okay, so let's say you find one of these rare misaligned die error quarters. What should you do next? First, get it appraised. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or numismatist who can evaluate its condition and confirm its authenticity. You can also check out websites like PCGS or NGC, which specialize in grading coins and can provide you with an estimated value based on their certification. If it turns out you have one of the $1.7 million error coins, you'll definitely want to have it professionally graded to ensure it fetches the highest possible price at auction. So, what do you think? Could that 2020p quarter sitting in your change jar be worth $1.7 million? Well, now you know what to look for, and maybe this could be your ticket to a big payday. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're planning to go through your collection now to look for these misaligned die error quarters.